AI. At work, my boss wants us all to use AI. So I told him in front of everybody, I said, AI is brain rot. So now he says, okay, so now we're learning about brain rot. But I tried it. It actually didn't work that well. I mean, he actually did a really cool thing with AI. Like what happened was he had it create a program that he had like um, he had like I don't know exactly how to describe because like he had like two different uh, executables talking to each other. So one was like a browser talking to like something else, and so he had it like Drush, like you could tell it like let's say you want a shape with eight sides, it would return you like in J it would tell you like what that would be or something like that. Yeah, something silly like that. But it would work, like so he wanted to do like you add two numbers together and added a new feature. And he tried that and it didn't work. So, what do you do then? Because it's he didn't write it. AI wrote it. So it's funny. No, but I think but if I mean he knew I think he understood the code, or he could have understood the code. But the point is he never looked at the code. He just had the AI do everything. So when AI changed it, it didn't work anymore. So I forgot what he did. I think he didn't look at the code. I think he just told AI what was happening, and then somehow fixed it or something. But like it's scary. It really is brain rot. Yeah. Because imagine, because you like if you don't know what you're doing, like it's one thing if you know what you're doing. So like it's sort of like if you know how to drive and you go in a Tesla, it's self-driving. So you if it's doing something wrong, you could take over. But if you don't know how to drive at all, then or those like those robo taxis, right? You're dead if it does something crazy, right? You don't know how to drive, yeah. I think the same thing with AI. If you don't know, what how it's doing it, it's a little bit scary. Anyhow, so anyhow, but the bottom line is at work they want us all to use it. So as much as possible. So I actually tried it today and I gave it like a big file and it blew up, kept blowing up. I kept like trying to different ways to you could see it was like trying different types of search and it was like trying different things and it kept blowing up. It's pretty cool actually, but it never got it working. So I said, well, so much for AI. So anyhow, so that was my experience so far with AI. I'll let you know if or you let me know if you anybody here had experience with AI besides term papers, like stuff like that. Like term papers, I think are kind of simple because you know it must have like thousands, millions, hundreds of thousands of them stored in its memory, so it just you know randomly sticks it together. But like code is a little bit more complicated. Okay, so anybody presenting today? Oh, we have one person presenting. Okay, and then we'll do. Uh, we got a lot of things to do today. Okay. Oh, by the way, just before we start, I just want to show um, where's the schedule? Here. So I moved the project presentation because we it's already today's the 6th of November, right? So It's a little bit too soon. Actually, I think I'll move it one more day. Move it to like there, because we're already up to on the 6th, right? So like this, you'll have a weekend to do the project, okay? So I moved it a little bit, and here's the final review. Okay, so everybody got that? I moved the project's presentation to November 18th. Okay, so I think that'll be good. Then you'll have today is 6, so we'll probably do 2 design patterns today, maybe one more, and then one more on next week. And then you'll have Thursday, after that you'll have a week to do it for okay? Okay, so let's have a presentation. Okay. So that's a change in schedule. Um, and then here's the upload your presentation here. Okay. Uh, this one. Okay. So it looks nice if you download it usually. Okay. Did it download? Yeah, here it is. Okay. There you go.
I don't know why it's showing up late. Is it fine if I just do it on Google Slides?
What?
Is it fine if I just do it on Google Slides? I don't know why
Google. Oh, it looks fine here.
it's fine like that?
Looks great. Look,
Okay.
look,
Oh, yeah, yeah, okay, okay.
look.
All right. All right. Welcome to my presentation. My name is Dover, and I'll be going over why milestones are important in project development. So to begin, I'll go over what milestones are, and then I'll go over their importance in project development, and then lastly, we'll go over a mock milestone workflow to show how they go on in project development. So to begin, what are milestones? Project milestone is a marker or checkpoint that indicates a major goal, event, or task within a project's lifecycle. In project development specifically, it can mark the end of a stage of development, indicate the completion of a deliverable, and it can provide a structured way to measure progress throughout the lifecycle of a project for a team. So there are 4 types of milestones that are commonly associated with project development. The first one is project milestones. You can think of these as like the major milestones that are incorporated within, like a timeline. So they describe the critical events or accomplishments within a project. They work as the high-level progress markers throughout the project duration. And like I mentioned, they correspond to major achievements. Then we have phase milestones. So you can think of these as the intermediate milestones within a larger project milestone. So these are sequential milestones that ensure that the larger goals are being completed. And then after that, we have deliverable milestones. These are associated with marking progress in terms of shipping deliverables for a project. So it's a more tangible milestone that can be seen by a stakeholder or a client as the completion of a requested feature. And then lastly, we have key event milestones. So these are like the low level internal milestones. And what I mean by low level internal is like they are not milestones that are seen by the stakeholder or the client. They're more internal milestones that are seen within the team to make sure things are being done on a consistent schedule. So they are where the team gathers to evaluate progress, make critical decisions, and plan next steps. They're critical for maintaining alignment, communication, and strategic direction throughout the project. Next, we're going to get into the importance of milestones and project development specifically. Project milestones allow teams to more accurately estimate the time and resources it could take to complete a project by marking important dates and events. So basically having a plan beforehand and having events structured in a way that you know how things are going to be done helps you identify various things such as bottlenecks and issues early on and having a better plan of the resources and budget that you'll use for a project. So specific milestones such as deliverable milestones help keep stakeholders and clients updated on requested features and their timeline, like I mentioned before. And then overall, they provide a structured way to track progress, improve communication, and manage risk during development. And then for our last portion, I'm going to go over a mock milestone workflow to show how it is presented in a team. So initially, you can see there's a defining project moment where the project begins. And then here is where the research gets done. And basically, like an overview, you can see that everything is being done in sequential steps to make sure you get towards the end in the correct manner to the final presentation where you hand over the feature or the product that you're creating to the client. So then you get to a proposal step, and after the proposal, you can see there's a customer management module. It's just the various parts of the features that you're creating for the product are being done in these intermediate steps. And then in between each step, after everything, a feature is created, like a search module here or a dashboard module, undergoes user testing. And then once it goes through user testing, you can see there's review changes from the user testing under that. And then after each user testing cycle, there's acceptance phases. Oh, let me go back. Acceptance phases in between each user testing cycle. So when like a feature is done for part of a product, it's accepted, and then you keep going all the way till you get to the end, and that's when you hand over your project to the client. So basically, bottom line is there's a bunch of steps and planning that goes on with milestones and to help teams understand how they're going to go about creating a project. Thank you. That's the end of my project.
Very good. Okay, so one of our milestones is coming up. We present the projects. That's our next milestone, right, for this course. Anybody else is presenting? Okay. So I want to do, so first let's do let's do the hardest one first. Okay. And then we'll go on to the easier one. Okay. It's not really that hard. Actually, let's do an easy one first. So, oh, yeah. Oh, you know what? Let's go backwards. Let's start with the project. So I actually was working on this. There's a folder here called projects, and you actually could edit one of these files, hopefully. So basically, it works like this. This is, you can't see the whole name, but this should say the name of it. Oh, yes, so this is a student edition. So this, you should be able to edit, and you should find your name in here somewhere. And next to your name is a random pattern that I that Excel picked for you. So I had nothing to do with the pattern. And so these are the patterns. So some of them we've done, some of them we still have to do. So there is we already did, let's see, which ones have we done? So, and then next to it is, I just want you to fill in like what type of of like, give me an idea, like, is it a restaurant software? Um, and then over here is the slots for when you're going to, well, why is this dark? I thought I changed that to, uh, I don't know why it's so dark. How do I change that color? Um, I don't know why it's dark. I thought I fixed it. Anyhow, but this is the slots. So we have 35 slots, 5 minutes each. It's usually going to last longer than that. So whichever slot is good for you, sign up there. And just remember, we changed the day of the project presentation to like a week and a half from today, right? So a week from next Tuesday. Okay, and then there's another file, which is the one that I use for grading. So here I have the same things, the names with the project, with the design pattern, and this, I guess you're gonna, and then in my diagram, this is how I'm gonna grade it. So when you present it, there's gonna be a UML diagram, which I'll explain. There's a unit 2 unit test, and the code is 80%. And I need you to invite me to Replit. So the way you're going to present it is you're going to create a Replit project And it's explained in this there's another document over here, and this explains to you how to do it. And if you have any issues, let me know. But the main thing is to invite me to it and then put all your files up there. And and these are like what's required. I'll go through it. It's not a lot of work. Okay. Um, so so take a look at the documents. Nothing, no, it should be pretty simple. Okay? Yes, it's under, you could actually modify the one that says students. So, and the other, I think you should,
Project folder is empty.
it is? Go again, maybe.
Well, yeah, one has that.
Yeah.
What? Uh, I, I don't know, I brought, okay, yeah, and and people are allowed to change this document. Okay, then with the student edition. Okay, but and then you could fill in the slot with your name and you could put in like what type of project you want to do. Typically people always do restaurants or, I don't know. Okay, so let's go through so basically the design patterns that are we've done iterative pattern, if you remember, right? And we've done the observer. So today let's do the builder pattern. So what is the builder pattern? So, so the builder pattern is really kind of simple and, but it's actually a very cute idea. Um, so let's do this one. Okay, builder pattern. Come on. Okay, so fall 2025 builder pattern. Okay, so basically, sometimes you have let's say for example, we have um, an object which is kind of confusing. So I'll explain. So let's say we have a student object, right? And the student object has many different properties. Like, for example, what could a student have? They could have, let's say, a first name, and then um, they could have a last name. I'll just copy that. And they could have phone number, right? They didn't really save anything. And then they could have, let's say, age. Trying to think what else you could have. Um, you could have maybe, um, an address, a street, let's say street one. And then they could have street two, or let's say zip code. Okay. Zip. And then they could have, let's say, a um, um, what else could they have? What? ID. Oh, very good. So that will be a string, right? You know, why did I make it a string? Because I think I made it ID. What I made it a string. Why? Because let's say it starts with a zero, right? If it's um, like some zip codes start with a zero, so you have to store it as a string because if it's a number, it'll get chopped off, right? Yeah, so that's why I picked it. Anyhow, but the point of the problem is that um, somebody is creating, let's say, somebody wants to create a student, doesn't know which of these properties are important. Is first name important, last name, knows which are very important, which are like optional, like do I have to know is important to, oh, I wrote string ID, it should be student ID, sorry about that. Stu, can everybody see it? Maybe I'll try to turn off the light in the front so you could. Or back. I could make it a little better. Could you see it better now? Yeah, sorry. Okay, so the idea is that it's confusing when you look at this object to know what's important, what's not important. So along comes the builder pattern and sort of allows us to construct a student object, right? With construct a student object, but it will, well, it makes it easier for us to construct it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this from being a regular class to an abstract class. Okay, so what does that mean? So a abstract class means that it you can't go, for example, over here, and you can't do like you can't do like, yeah, I can't say student equals to new student because it's an abstract class and you can't do that. Right? So it gives me an error, right? Because you can't create, because the new operator creates a concrete class, right? And the student we just said is abstract. So we can't do that. Okay, so why can't we do it? Because we want to have it being built by the student builder. Okay, so in order to create a student, you have to use the student builder. Okay, so let's create the student builder. So this is going to build the student object. Okay, so this is going to inherit. Actually, it's not going to inherit. So the student builder is going to have a method. Oh, and also another okay, so there's actually two problems. Number one, we don't know which are which of these properties are important, which aren't, right? Do we really need to know the phone number? Do we have to know the age? Right? What's important and what's optional? And number two is that we're not, Leonard, let's say somebody creates a blank student, right? That's, in other words, how do we make sure that students, when they're created, have the correct values? Okay, so normally, the way it works is that when you have a new operator, right? In other words, let's say student would not be abstract. Let's say it would be a regular class, right? So over here, we'd be able to do student, oops, and equals to new student, even though, and it will allow me to create it, even though there's no values inside of it, right? It's an empty object, right? All the variables nothing has been set, right? So that's not good, right? So these two issues, one is it's confusing as to what values should be set, and number two, there's no verification of the values that they're correct. Okay, so for that reason, we're going to not allow the student to be created by itself, but rather we're going to use a student builder to create it. Okay, So the first thing we're going to have is a method in Student Builder called create. And the create method is going to return a student, right? So even though we can't use the new operator to um, to create a student, but we could pass we could still use the student type. So for example, we could have create, and then we could have um, create, and create, for example, could return a, let's say, initially, let's just return nothing, okay? Okay, so we could have it return null, okay? So, and we can make this public. So this we could do. So public. This we could do. And then over here, in main, so instead of using new student, we could use new student builder, and we'll use the um, create method. Oh, I didn't do new. And then student builder will use the create method. Okay, so now the student builder is going to be returning the student. Okay, right now we didn't put in any logic, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So before that, but before that, we need a way we have to return something, right? If we want to return a student, we need something concrete, right? So how do we do that? Well, we're going to do is we can create a private class called class. We'll call this underscore student, because the reason underscore means it's internal, and it's going to inherit from student. Okay? So so now we're going to return a new underscore student. Okay, so this we could do. Okay, so now what we did is, everybody following so far? So we can't return a student because a student is abstract, but we could return a underscore student, which is a concrete class, because it's a regular class. Even it inherits from an abstract class, but it itself is concrete. So we could do this. But of course, this is not good because we still need to verify. We need to verify that we have the correct values, right, in the student, right? Because right, otherwise we didn't gain anything from doing this whole exercise is to make sure, and also to let the um, to let the um, um, to let the um, 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 remember, there's two reasons for the builder pattern, right? Does anybody remember the reasons? So let me write it down here. I was just thinking of a problem. That's why I was, okay, so one reason is to make it simple to set values. And the second reason is for the builder pattern is to verify, to ensure that only correct values are used. Okay? Now, okay, so what we're gonna do over here is um I okay, so I think what I'm gonna do is like this. Okay, so now, so we need to verify. So let's say we decide, let's look at the student for a second, and let's decide that these these are the important ones, okay? These are important, um, and then let's say, yeah, just to make it simple, these are optional, okay? So over here, we're going to do it like this. So inside the builder, I'm going to actually, um, I'm going to create in the, no, it's when we create the student builder, I'm going to, okay, it has issues, but I just want to make the code simple. Okay, so, so you might, uh, come up with some problems, but what I'm going to do is when the student builder gets created, it's going to create this student. So I'm going to have, um, I'm going to have an object called um, student. Actually, I don't, I could just create it right at the beginning. So let's say I have a new equals new student. I'll just do it like that. Okay, so I don't need to set that even. Okay, so now, we said that what's important, the first four. Okay, so we're going to do is we're going to in the builder, we're going to first of all we're going to have a method called public, and we're going to call this one. It's going to um, set important important values. Okay. Okay, so we're going to set important values. What are the important values? So we said the important values are going to be these four. So let's take these four and um, so we're going to, I'm sorry, I put it in the wrong place. It should be over here. And um, so we're going to pass in um, first name and we're going to pass in last name, comma, phone number, comma, and then age. And then we're going to set um, student dot um, first name, uh, whatever first name equals to first name, and then student last name equals to last name, and then phone number equals to phone number, and then age, okay, equals to age. Okay. And then we'll have now, well, what do we now? This is going to be something pretty cool. Now, you notice it doesn't like we don't have any return value, right? So we're going to actually return something really cool. We're going to return ourselves. Have you ever seen this before? You could actually you could return yourself as a value. So I'm going to return ourselves. Now you'll see why we're going to do it. It comes out really cool. So we're going to do return and the return this, right? Because this in C++, Java, and C Sharp is a pointer to myself. And what type am I? I'm a student builder. Okay, so I'm going to return myself after you set important values. Okay, and then I'm going to have another method called, maybe I should shrink that. Another method called set optional values for the other three values. So actually, let's call it. So it should be set optional values. And what were they? So we have the optional are street, zip, and student ID. Okay. And this is in the way. Come on. Okay. So go back here, and these are the optional values. So we'll just put them over here. Okay, so right away, we're right now, we're okay, and then I have to do small student equal dot what are we up to? Um, street one student oh, I spelled it should be small s, right? Street one student I have to fix this. Go back here. This should have a small s, right? In keeping with the first letter in Java is always lowercase. So over here it should be student street one equals to street one, and then student dot equals to student ID, and then what was the other one? Zip student dot zip equals to zip. And then just like before, we're going to return the object itself, okay? So we're going to return this, okay? Okay, now, so now we've sort of broken it down. So the user so we've accomplished the first part, which was to make it simple, set values, because now the user knows which ones are important and which ones aren't. But now we have to do number two, which is we have to verify that the values are correct, right? So going back to our student builder, when we call create, right? By the way, we're going to return the student that we're building, right? So, so we have to create a function called verify, verify, and this is going to be a private method, and it's going to return a Boolean value. And basically, it's going to make sure that has the correct values. So, for example, it's going it's going to just check these. So it'll say something like, oops. So it'll do something like, it'll say if student dot first name is blank, or or student last name is blank, or student phone number is blank. Or let's say student age, let's say is less than, I don't know, less than 18. So in that case, or actually, if this is true, if it's with an if they're all, if any of those are true, with an if I just with an, I should be able to make it in one statement, right? If 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 any of these are true, then it's going to be false, right? So if any of these are true, then we should return false, right? So return not of this, right? Where I work, this is very important. The people, they fight over the, if you could do it in one line, instead of writing in this statement, the people where I work with are very concerned about these things. So, it's like, it's nicer to write elegant code. So if any of these are true, right, then if they're all not true, then it's good, right? So then it's gonna, I'm sorry, if they're all not true, it's gonna return false, right? And then the not is gonna make it true. So basically, we basically say if verify is gonna be equals to false, well, let's say true, actually. So if it's true, we're going to return, again, this is where I work, they would do something like this. So we check the return value of verify, and if it's true, we're going to return student. Otherwise, we're going to return null. Okay? And then get rid of that. Okay? So this is the code. So when you call create, we're going to call verify, and you can't get a student unless what? Unless verify was true. Okay? So going to main, so if we would just do this, and let's say we did S out. Let's say, what do we say was important? Student dot first name, I think we said was important. So if we run the code now, it's going to crash, right? Why? Because I want to hide this. Right? Because it's missing the last name and all that, right? So the builder pattern is going to return null, and this is going to blow up, right? It should blow up. Yes, it crashed because it's null pointer, right? Because since it doesn't have, we didn't set important information, so the create failed. So let's try setting optional values. I forgot what those are. Those are, let's say, whatever, some values, 111, oops, and then student ID. Let's just make it blank. I don't know. Let's do it like that. Okay. So, and if we try this again, it's still going to fail, right? Because we didn't set the important values, right? So it's still failing. So we have to call in order to create it, we have to call set important values. Okay. Um, and so, which is going to be, let's say Fred is always my, for, I don't know, that's the name I always use. And then the last name is going to be Fred, because I can't think of another name. And then here, basically, I'm going to make it nicer to read. So we have Fred, and then we have phone number is going to be, um, 716-555, whatever. And then what was the last thing? The age is going to be 19, right? Or 18. And then we're going to call dot. Now remember, because we're returning the whole object, we get to call because remember it's calling we could like chain them together. So then we could call the set optional values to here. What were the optional values again? The street, zip, and ID, I think. We have one more, right? Right. Okay, so I hate this. What could we get rid of that? Disable. Yeah. Cancel. What do I have to do? Disable hence. Yeah. Okay. Phew. Okay, now we can read it. So now we're setting the important values to valid values, and we're setting the optional values to whatever they are. And now if we try to run it, it should work. So why is this red? Something happened. Cannot be converted to student. Oh, I forgot to call create dot. What was the last thing? Create, right? Right. Now it's going to work, right? So first we set the important values, then we set the optional values, and then we call create. And now it should create a valid student, right? So we do over here, and look, it printed out Fred. Yay. So now we were able, number one, make it simple to set values. Number two, we verified them, right? And just three, we made it like simple to chain the setters, meaning that over here, each time we did something, we would return the whole builder. So all we had to do was dot. We didn't have to like keep on calling it, like student builder, set important value, student builder, set optional value, student builder, create. We're able to by returning the builder itself. So it just made the code look nicer, right? Okay, does it make sense what I did? It looks there's a lot nicer, right, than, just having some object and hoping for the best, right? But over here, it's impossible to create a student without using the student builder to make sure that everything is correct. Okay? So that's the idea. Sort of like very similar to the factory pattern, right? The factory pattern controls which object is created, right? It deals with different objects. This is dealing with one object, It's making sure that the object has the correct values. Okay? So you can't create a crazy value. Okay. Okay, so what okay, then let's do memento. People I think pretty good with that. So a memento is basically a um, yeah, let's do memento pattern, and that'll be it for today. And then I think we just have to do the state pattern, and we're done. So, full 5, memento. So what is memento? Memento's like if you go on vacation, like something to remind you of where you were. If you ever go on a trip, you always want to bring something home. To like remind you, well, I spent a couple $1,000. At least I have this little, yeah, right, little thing there to remind me that I went there. You know. Uh, so, yeah. Yeah, I know somebody like every time he travels, he always gets uh, gets, what does he get? Like a magnet or something that he puts on his fridge or something. Anyhow, so the idea of memento is is basically is okay. Normally, I go through the way not to do it, and um, actually, it's not so hard. Okay, so let's pretend we have a document. Okay. And inside our document, it's sort of like a Word document. We have two things. We have a header, um, and we'll have two things, a header and a body, right? So now let's say we want to allow for an undo method, right? So how are we going to do that? So one way we could do it is we could um, we can make these private, right? And um, and what we could do is um, actually, yeah, we could generate getters and setters for both of these guys. Okay, so one way to do it is we could. I just like putting this at the end because um, it gets too complicated otherwise. Okay, so the idea is that for the setter, we can have a list of, we can have a list, uh, capital, a list. You could call this a list of strings. This would be the header list. And then um, we could have a body list. And then basically, every time we set the header, we would remember before we change it, we would say um, if um, actually we'll just set it to blank just to make it easier. So we'll just initialize them to blank, and every time we set it, the header, we would add it to the list. So we'd say header list add, and then we would add this dot header. This means the object, the part of the document, right? So every time we set the header, we're going to save the previous, and then the same idea over here, with the body, every time we change the body, we're going to save the previous value. So we're going to change body, and then this would be the body list. Okay? Okay, so there would be, and then if you undo it, etc. So this way we keep track of all the different values that we typed in, right? And then theoretically, we could go backwards and we could undo it, right? So that's, okay, so this will work, except it's a bad idea because why? Because we're making this document do too many things. So besides, keeping track of, besides, drawing a beautiful document and keeping track of the header and the body, it also has to keep history, right? So we really don't want the document to be in charge of keeping history. Okay, it's basically the single responsibility principle. Remember we said that? That's one of the major object-oriented, that's the S in solid, right? Is that that a object should only do one thing. So so the idea is, let's take this, let's get rid of these things, and instead, let's have someone else take care of it. So the question is, who's going to take care of it? So the answer is, we're going to create a document, not a document, a object called memento. And the memento is going to have these two things in it. So we're going to do a new object called memento. And it's going to have the header and a body inside of it. And every time we'll generate a constructor, which is going to save these values. Actually, I should make them private. Let's make them public. Yeah, public. It's not just for our demonstration purpose. Okay, so every time, so basic memento is holds the values. Basically, memento is like if you would take a camera picture of the object as it is, all the all the stuff we want to capture in that moment of time, we could capture. So let's say the color, the header, the footer, right? I just did two properties of a document, but theoretically, I'm not theoretically, but in real life, it would actually be a lot more things, right? We take a picture, like a snapshot of the object, and we save it, we put it into this memento, and then we have another thing called okay, I'm going to call this the caretaker. I mean, it depends on which Google's website you go to. They have different, some people say caretaker does this, some people say does this. So we'll just say that the caretaker is in charge of storing the history. So it has a private. And now remember, history is going to be last in, first out. What type of object is that? Anybody, if you took data structures, what's the last in? No, the last thing when you undo something, yeah?
Stack.
A stack, right. So we're going to have a stack. Very good. A stack of mementos. And I'll just call memento stack. That's good. Equals to new stack. Like that. Okay. And then basically we're going to have, I'll just bring that over here. And then we'll just basically have a save memento. This will be void. And it's just gonna take I spelled it wrong, memento. And it's gonna take a memento. And all it's gonna do is just push it on the stack, right? So it's gonna take the memento stack, push the memento, and then that's all it does. And the other thing is going to get, oops, what just happened? Did something wrong. Oh, this is going to get memento. So this is going to return a memento. Put that there. And it's going to do a pop, right? It's going to return a pop. So it's going to return memento stack.pop. Okay, so basically it's very simple. Obviously, I'm not doing any error checking, which I should, but you get the idea. So basically, the way it works is within the instead of the document, which before we had it keeping track of what's changing within it, we instead we need we need it to do two things. It has to it has to create a snapshot of itself, right? So well, let's call it get snapshot, which is going to be a public, and it's going to be a memento. Okay. And so it's going to return, oops, return new memento, and then memento is going to take header and what was the other thing going to take? It's going to take the body, okay, the body of the object. And then there's going to be another one called set or 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 set I don't know, set from snapshot. And in this case, we're passing it the memento. And I just did something bad. Memento, memento. And so instead, and this will be a void. And this is going to set this dot header equals to memento header. That was cool. I knew how to do that. And this dot body is going to be equal to memento dot body. Okay, so now these are the only two methods that the document has to know about. It has to know how to create a snapshot, and it has to know how to take a snapshot and set itself to be like that, right? So for example, so how would this work in real life? Okay, so I only need 5 more minutes. So in real life, it would look something like this. So in real life, we'd have we'd have our document, right? And then we have our new document, and then we would have our caretaker equals to new caretaker. And then we would, let's say document that set header, and we'd set some value, header 1, and then we would do, maybe we change, we would do 1, 2, and 3. And then, but let's say what we did was we called document, we call document that get, where is it? Get snapshot. And in other words, after we set it to header 1, we got a snapshot of the document, right? So we would say caretaker, and we would save in the, so the caretaker would save the memento of the document that get snapshot. Okay, so, and then later on, we set it to header 1 and 2. So if we printed it out now, so let's say we print out document that get header, right? It will print out header 3, right? Right, it prints out header 3. But if we would, before we do that, if we would do document that, I forget what the method is, document that set from snapshot, and we call it caretaker dot get memento, right? Now it should give us what? Header 1, because it's returning it to the previous state. So if we run it now, we should, yep, see? So it actually worked. So, okay, so that's it for this week. Okay, and we just have to, I forgot how many, we have to do the state pattern, I think. Is that it? Oh, and the command pattern. Yeah, 2 more. Okay. Maybe I'll get rid of the command pattern. It's kind of complicated. Do we have it? Okay, whatever. I think we'll just do 1 more next week, and then I'll, okay. So we have nearly all the design patterns done. Okay. So I'll just do, I think, the state pattern, because that'll be complicated enough, and then that'll be it for the design patterns. Okay. Yeah, we'll skip the command pattern. Okay, so turn on the light. And you could do, now that you know what your pattern you're supposed to do, we could, you could look into it already. And just read the documents and see, create your account. And, you'll start working on it. It's not a lot of work. Okay. Okay, so I'll go over everything again on Tuesday. Okay. Okay, so yeah, get rid of the command pattern. Yeah. Wow, it's supposed to be random, huh? People get, yeah, okay, I'm gonna get rid of that. Yeah. There's no state pattern?
One person got state pattern.
Only one? Oh,
2, 3.
okay, I'll have to figure out what to give them. Okay, I'll change it now. I'll just make this let's make this decorator pattern. Oops, what just happened? Did that work? Yeah, I think it worked. With the other one? With the, with other, command pattern? Let's make this memento. Yeah,
Thank you, President.
okay. Yeah, okay.
Is the statement,
What?
is the statement of fit or change?
No, I just got rid of the command pattern. Right, so we're just doing these patterns. So I have just one more to do, which is a state pattern. Okay? Okay, yeah.
For the project, like how in depth are we like, or are you expecting it to be like?
You just need three objects to show the design pattern,
Okay,
just like what I've been doing here. You know,
similar to that, just like three of them and maybe a little more.
what I did was fine. You don't have to do any more.
All right, just
Yeah.
three of them though.
Some people say, oh, I'm gonna do a project that, it's a game and it's, yeah, no, that's, that, you could do that if you want, but you don't have to. It won't improve your score or anything. It's, you just have to do what's required.
Okay, so just three, right?
Three classes, yeah,
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
yeah,
So is that the instruction document for how to do the project?
yeah,
Oh, it's like in the Word document, right? Oh, this one.
yeah,
There you go, then. Hit that.
yeah,
These are instructions.
yeah.
And
I'll explain it on Tuesday. I'll go through it.
okay, all right, perfect.
Okay?
And I got builder pattern. Okay,
Builder we just did.
yeah.
I'm gonna upload it, but
Oh, okay. All right,
Okay.
thank you.
good night. Okay.